Revolutionary greetings, dear comrades. A wave of change is taking shape and seems to be unstoppable. There is pandemonium in Mozambique as the Podemos party candidate Venancio Mondlane, who a few weeks ago called for national strikes after the Mozambican elections on the 9th of October, is believed to be out of the country, and the country is in a political and social standoff. So there's a standoff between the citizens and the ruling Frelimo that has been ruling since 1975. So we're concerned about the region. We're concerned about our country. Now, seeing that Mozambique is what it is today, and we know your uncle's hand was involved there, and we know that your uncle congratulated the the incoming president Daniel L. Sharpo before the election results were announced. We also know that your good uncle as well was fingered in the Botswanan elections, of which the outgoing Masisi conceded defeat and allowed a smooth transfer of power in Botswana. Kudos to him. And it is believed that your uncle and his niece, the big guy, that fat one, they have got a hand as well in the upcoming November 27 elections in Namibia. So the Namibians must be very worried. Now let's go back to Mozambique. Mozambique is on fire, and it is a telltale sign of regional unrest and dissatisfaction with the liberation movements. Botswana has successfully taken out its own. Malawi, they lost many long time ago. Zambia lost a long time ago. South Africa, the ANC has lost majority. In Mozambique, there's a standoff. In Zimbabwe, we know it's rigging. And the Mozambicans have taken a lead in going to the streets and fighting for their vote, fighting against ballot stuffing, against manipulating the voters' roll and intimidation. They do not fear their regime, they do not fear their oppressors. We, on the other hand, as Zimbabweans, we've been fearful, we've been cowards. The looting continues in Zimbabwe. Frelimo has been leading since 1975. It's almost 50 years in power. The oppression of the people doesn't stop because of the number of years a ruling party and oppressors in power. That's one thing that we learn. Zimbabwe is 44 years of oppression. So the number itself means nothing. You can go to 100 years of oppression. Historically speaking, if you read this book, yes, if you read this book, okay, why nations fail, the origins of power, prosperity, and poverty, you will understand that it's only citizens' action that these people understand. If you keep on praying, quoting verses, and going to foreign countries that have got smooth changes of power and taking pictures with pop idols, you don't get your country forward. If you read this book, it will tell you about to show you a history of struggles. Europe, America, Africa, everywhere. It will teach you one thing, that the ruling elite create political and social institutions that are meant to extract wealth from everyone as much as possible. The only way that we can stop them is to put pressure on them, political pressure on them. So the social unrest in Mozambique will eventually lead to Frelimo inching towards some level of freedom. They're already talking about talks of government of national unity there. So that is going to come because of what the Mozambicans are doing, not because Frelimo love Jesus and they love people. No, if there is no rulers, especially oppressors, who will give away power if people do nothing. Mozambique is showing us that. Well, the only way that you can get power without the people doing anything is only when men of God are in power. In Botswana, Masisi fears the Lord. That's the only way when these regimes are actually yield to the people, is only when countries are led by people that have got the power of the Holy Spirit. Zimbabwe needs that impartation. I hope when Nangagwa and Chamisa and Job Sekala were there, I hope they imparted that spirit. I really would like to praise Valencia, because unlike another guy whose name I will not mention, lest you people attack me, unlike that guy, Valencia told the people the truth, that in order for us to get ahead, we have to get to the streets and exercise our democratic and constitutional right to protest. It's not a crime to protest. It's constitutional. It is in the constitution. That is the only language that they understand. They can retaliate with the repression, send their state agents, but nonetheless, you put more pressure on them, they will have no choice but to inch towards justice. These people do not love justice. Do not get it. Don't get it. This thing wrong. They don't love justice. They only achieve justice when their hand is forced. Just like the GNU of 2008 in Zimbabwe, it wasn't because the people in the army and in ZANU-PF loved justice and equality and unity so much. They don't love unity. It's just like the unity of ZANU and ZAP. Nobody loves unity there. It's about forced, getting to a place of being forced to do something that you do not want to do. So unless we get ZANU-PF and the Zimbabwe military generals to a place and position where they have to make decisions that they do not want to do, but the situation forces them to do so, they will have to oblige. You see, these people are not gods. They can be walloped even by SADC sanctions, even by South African sanctions. When push comes to shove and South Africa suffers, and South Africans want Zimbabweans to go home, and we'll get all those internal pressures. We've got pressures in Mozambique. Trust me, South Africa is a time bomb with many millions of Zimbabweans in South Africa. That is a social time bomb that will explode any one of these days, and the Zimbabweans will have no choice but to go back home. And Ramaphosa will have no choice but to pressure ZANU-PF for some reforms. And if ZANU-PF will be refusing, not refusing, the Zimbabweans also refusing Ramaphosa, Pretoria can just slap sanction. So once Pretoria take a stance, they will have no choice. Those old Madalas will have no choice. They will bow down to Ramaphosa. But it's all about a political will. But even Ramaphosa's hand will be forced, not because Ramaphosa hates ZANU. No, Ramaphosa loves ZANU-PF. All right? Don't be fooled. These guys are friends. Unless if Ramaphosa himself is put pressure from his own country, when when there's a social problems within South Africa that have got to do with foreigners, as I told you, that this actually is a ticking time bomb. All right, the relations are so bad. All right, that it's a ticking. We do not know when it's going to start or how it's going to start. It can be so bad that Ramaphosa will have no choice that to fix Zimbabwe in order to fix South Africa. All right, so you get now a melting pot of pressures, and the inspiration from Mozambique, seeing what's happening in Mozambique, perhaps it will lead for some GNU of some sort. The dissatisfaction in Zimbabwe, all right, and SADC's position on the whole issue is this embarrassing position of SADC, where the chairman of SADC, actually is the main instigator across the region: Mozambique, Zimbabwe, Botswana, Namibia. The South African government has got a huge role to play in enforcing the hand of ZANU-PF. And I thank God that the government in SA is a GNU, which is ANC and the DA predominantly. The ANC has always been soft on ZANU-PF, but not the DA. The DA is not soft on ZANU-PF. So in a coalition arrangement, pressures from the DA might actually lead. Pressures from the DA plus pressures from black South Africans who are sick of Zimbabweans in their country might lead to ANC to have no choice but to put pressure on Harare. And inspiration from Mozambique would also propel those fires within the Zimbabweans to arise and do what is right and begin a process of leading themselves. Since we're people that are leaderless, we've got leaders who go on a sabbatical during a time of war. How do you go on a sabbatical on a time of war? Okay, you're gonna say it's none of my business. Okay, it's fine. Sabbatical, go forever. For me, if you go for a sabbatical, never come back. Okay, never. Because when you need you at a time of war, you're not there. You wanna come when there's peace? No, not anymore. So these pressures are the pressures that are needed for Zimbabwe to be right. Don't get it twisted. Go and read this book. There is no inch of liberty that comes freely. The devil does not give you freedom on a platter. Every inch of liberty has to be fought for. And as you are fighting, the oppressor will fight back. The oppressor has got no interest in helping you, and the oppressor does not value you at all. Okay, already we have got Mozambican people that are protesting not only against their Frelimo government, but protesting against ZANU-PF. They're protesting against Mnangagwa because they know that Mnangagwa was also involved in the rigging of their elections. They are already planning on blocking the roads that lead to Zimbabwe, the Beria to Mutare road, possibly causing a closure of the border between Zimbabwe and Mozambique. Already the border between Mozambique and South Africa is already closed. All right. So when you close the border between Zimbabwe and Mozambique, that you are going to affect Takure. It's going to lose a whole lot of money. So it is actually a sanction, but it is sanctioned by the people this time around. Not by the Mozambican government, but the Mozambican people are in a way sanctioning Zimbabwe Zanios who are making money off Mozambique. So that also is another pressure point, all right, that the Mozambicans are going to use. Now, Mozambique is a very strange beast because the north of Mozambique in Capo Delgado, because of the disenfranchisement and the neglect of the Mozambican government, there was an uprising of these Islamic insurgents. All right, so they're called the Ansar al-Sunnah and they're linked to ISIS. And they seem to be well equipped, well sponsored, right? So they have caused mayhem in northern Mozambique. If it was not for the SADC and the Rwandan forces, things would have been worse. So now, with these insurgents now having an idea that part of their Mozambican problems is Idi Mnangagwa. We see this Idi. I always tell you people that Idi Mnangagwa is a security risk to the sovereignty of Zimbabwe. Because what he's doing now, he's fueling these Mozambique insurgents to think that okay, it is this Idi that is destroying us. It is this idiot that is helping this Maputo government. Let us go to him. You get what I'm saying? You are giving them ammunition, all right, by being idiot and putting your hands where they don't belong. You are giving those insurgents ideas and ammunition and and their cover. But of course, we know that ISIS-linked insurgents can use the suffering of the people not for the sake of the people, but just to terrorize the people. All right, there's diamonds in Maranke, there's gold in Zimbabwe, there's a lot of resources that these ISIS-linked groups may be interested in, and they just need a reason why they must enter Zimbabwe. And then Nangako is there giving. I always tell you people that Nangako is a security risk to the country. The things that he is doing, whether you people in Harare like it or not, whether you agree with me or you don't agree, or whether you like me or you hate me, it's very clear. Analysis, not my love or hatred of ET. Analysis is pointing to a catastrophe in the country from multiple points, from multiple angles. ED is a mess. His actions are a mess, right? That threat of Mozambique, South African sanctions, which should actually, which are possible. Whether you listen to me or not, it doesn't matter. Whether I made this video or not doesn't matter. If uprisings in South Africa, okay, if these uprisings in South Africa happen, as they probably will, and the ANC and the DA's hand is forced to act on Harare, they won't be listening to me or my videos. They'll be reacting to the internal dynamics of the country that have got absolutely nothing to do with my video. So don't blame the messenger. I'm here to enlighten you, to open your eyes, to understand, to see the possible course of events, and to link where those events are coming from and diagnose a solution. A solution which is ZANU-PF must just go. These guys in ZANU-PF are making money in Zimbabwe. They must just peacefully negotiate their way forward. Because if they do not, these forces that I'm talking about, there's a high risk of them happening, whether I made this video or not. So what is it going to be? Are we going to carry on oppressing Zimbabweans who will flood in Botswana, with the Botswanas uprising against Zimbabweans who will flood South Africa, South Africans rising against the Zimbabweans? I was still going to be supporting and rigging elections in Mozambique and having the Mozambican youth arise in Mozambique. And right now, they're already thinking of going to the Zimbabwean border. What makes you think that they will stop there? What if they will go and say, we want to go there, what to the person who caused our problems? How are you going to stop that? What if ISIS sponsors this Ansar al-Sunnah and start doing terrorize Zimbabweans? How is Idi Mnangagwa going to handle that? And these security people in Zimbabwe, these military generals and this military intelligence, how are you, military intelligence of Zimbabwe, going to handle this? That it is your fault, it is you who support this government incompetence. I've always been telling you that the State House is a crime scene. Okay, whether you like me or don't like me, it doesn't matter. I'm just speaking facts here. The State House is a crime scene, which is a terrible run. Nangakwa is a risk when you have got problems from Mozambique. You will have yourselves to blame because you did not fix the problem when it was starting. You allowed it to grow because you are benefiting financially.